Hello friends, Lord Monk here, and today I'm going to go over the latest patch notes to hit the live version of the game. So, here we are for Fairytale Fables, and the first up is characters with Black Sheep. Black Sheep has now been given the Fluff tag, great tempo card going into 3 if you happen to catch another Fluff. So the way it'll work is now that the sheep is a Fluff, it has no ability. But if you get a young Fluff rolling on 3.0, throw that in the front line, Black Sheep in the back, it is going to start gaining all of these miscellaneous Fluff buffs. Next up on the docket, we have another animal change. Down in the low levels, we have Goose. Dropped down from a 2-1 down to a 1-1. So not as much tempo, but still very valuable unit. You're just going to have to weigh if you can take the hit or not when you're taking a golden goose. Mycroft Holmes has also been changed. Mycroft now gets +2 attack instead of just +1, and honestly, much better scaling, feels a little bit better if you are taking one of those tracking dogs. Mycroft now feels a lot better if you're taking one of these tracking dogs, can actually get some early scaling on 3.1. A 3-4 ranged is much more impactful than a 1-4. Next up, Detective Apprentice, no longer giving +2 attack, only giving +1 attack, but also got a stat boost, so a little bit better tempo, although at the cost of a little less hero attack. Either way, feels like a much better unit here. Next up, we have another stat change. Funny Cat now is a 6-3 rather than a 7-4. Really gonna have to leverage that buff to get through the mid-game. Stargirl was also adjusted in a similar way to Mycroft, now getting +2, +0 permanently when a star is generated. So feels a little bit better, has a bit better of that scaling opportunity, makes more sense in the early game as there's just not that many ways to generate stars until you get to level 5, maybe start hitting some treasures. Next up, Witch Queen Hecate is now getting more health with each spell that you've cast. It used to be +2/+2, now it is +2 +3 health. Big help for mages. That is one detriment if you don't get rolling or don't get the quite right spells, you can be really lacking in health. I think this is a great swap in now for those owls that you might be building up throughout the game. Swap them out for a Witch Queen Hecate. Now we are moving on to treasures. The change in treasures, we have Baby Mimic. It still attaches to the next treasure you take and you double its underlying effects. Still the same text, but the change to Baby Mimic is now Baby Mimic with full treasure slots now cannot be destroyed. You're not given a replace choice. So if you have full treasures, you will not have to destroy one of your treasures and go down to 2 treasures just for Baby Mimic to attach to it. At least that's how it reads. It's always worth a test. Next up, we are moving into spells. Snow Queen Splinter. Turn a character evil and give it +2 permanently. +2 attack, that is. And then we also have Angel Feather. Turn an evil character good and give it +0/+3 permanently. Now, although these spells are different and one gives attack, one gives defense, the wording is important here. Angel Feathers turn an evil character good, whereas the Snow Queen can turn any character evil, so as long as they're not evil. So this can hit your neutral characters. So if you want to get your own Frankenstein's monster evil to bump up your next Frankenstein's monster, it should hypothetically work. And if you want to turn your tyrannical Nero into a good target for your good boys to bounce that food back onto a ranged unit, well, you have Angel Feather to do that now. So lots of fun gameplay here. Really excited about these spells being added to the game. Speaking of spells, Unstable Growth is now moved from level 3 to level 4, so you're not going to see this as early, and the same is the case for Win the Fight, Lose the War. Gain +1 XP. If you win or tie the next fight, you lose the gained XP. Still draining, but move to level 4 instead of level 3, so the mid game should go on a little bit longer. And that is it for spells. Moving on over to heroes, we actually have 2 brand new heroes. First up for our Storybook Brawl veterans, there is Peter Pan. Peter Pan has now entered the game. Your level is capped at level 4. Every 7 times you cast a spell, your future shops gain +1/+1 permanently. When you level up, increase the buff by +1/+1. I love seeing scaling on hero powers like this. It's something they've done really well in the game, and this Peter Pan is definitely a throwback for the Storybook Brawl veterans, and clearly has a spell synergy. You really want to be chasing those level 3 units, getting those spell treasures, trying to cast as many spells as possible, and then when you're starting to get these big units and getting them tripled up, just start giving them a new U and turning them into level 6 units. Next up on the docket, another throwback to a Storybook Brawl staple. It is different in name, but the ability is still there. Sandita Kita, I believe. You start with 1 Ascendance, that is the upgrade a character spell. The first time you reach 8 HP, you also get 1 more of that spell. What's really nice though is this doesn't count towards your hand. Below your icon, you'll actually have a little Ascendant spell, and you can click and drag that over to the unit that you want to use the spell on. A couple of big targets here at level 3. If you get the Pirate that scales stats permanently for 2 units in your hand, can really help out your mid game. I've also seen a lot of people just immediately force mages, hit an early owl, get that thing scaling beyond belief, and you can really do some damage. Or if you find a naturally strong way through the mid game, you can also save it for a level 5 Haymaker or a level 6 Cornerstone piece. A lot of options here, and I think is a welcome addition to the game. And that about wraps it up for the patch notes. Please get out there, experiment as much as you can. What you read and what you feel when playing the cards can be 2 different things. I know I'm really excited to try out the good spell and the evil spell just to see what kind of fun overlaps you can do. I think there's going to be some really interesting things about maybe taking a scam unit like Taylor, turning it good, and putting it into an angel comp, so that way when Taylor slays, all of your angels can get some stats. I think there's going to be a lot of fun things to try out, so get out there, experiment, keep climbing the MMR, and I hope to see you out there. Have a good one.